For unless we're to end up with no Brexit at all, the only way to avoid no deal is to agree a deal. That is why I want to go back to Brussels with the clearest possible mandate to secure a deal that this House can support. That means sending the clearest possible message, not about what this House doesn't. That means sending the clearest possible message, not about what this House doesn't want, but what we do want.
Let's go to London then and join DW's correspondent there, Birgit Maas. Welcome, Birgit. So another important vote in the Commons today on Brexit. Explain to us what the MPs will vote on and what's at stake.
Well, Theresa May basically has conceded that her deal is dead and that she has to go to the House of Parliament, and she's hoping that they will give her guidance. So she's hoping that at the end of today she will have something that she can take to Brussels and then renegotiate. So there are several amendments which come from all sides of the House of Commons here. There is, for example, the Labour amendment. They are hoping that they can exclude no deal. So they are really fearing that the UK could crash out of the EU, and they want to exclude it. And if there is no deal at the end of February, then they would have to seek for an extension. Theresa May would have to seek for an extension for this Article 50 period. So not crashing out at the end of March. That's one important amendment. There are others, and basically MPs are trying to get together to get one common position that Theresa May is already saying that she has to renegotiate the backstop. This is a compromise that has been reached within her own party or is in the process of being reached. She has to basically open up the withdrawal agreement again. We know from Europe that they are really not very happy and that they said, well, we have negotiated with the UK and this is it. But it's going to be a game of chicken because Theresa May is going to take this back to the European Union.
OK, so this sounds like the MPs ganging up on the government. Whichever way they vote tonight, what then will Theresa May actually have to do what she tells them?
She will really have to do that. I mean, she's said it time and again that there is no other way. She sees no other way forward. The country is deeply divided. It's polarized. You can see behind me there are lots of protesters. There are some who want to leave the European Union as soon as possible. And they said, we don't want any deal, and everything what they are doing here in the Houses of Parliament is basically wasting time. Let's go and let's crash out. There are others who are hoping for a second referendum. They are hoping that they can yet overturn Brexit. And this is also, mirrored in the House of Parliament. There is a big polarization. So it's a long shot for Theresa May to actually bring this together. And yet that she is hoping to do that, or at least she's hoping that she can have a consensus within her own party and that one amendment will go forward and she can say, well, this is the best basically that we can do. But this is our line of negotiation from now.
Birgit Maas in London, thank you. Well, for the European viewpoint, DW's chief political editor, Michaela Kerfner, caught up with Manfred Weber. He's the man hoping to become the next EU Commission president. She asked him about the likelihood of seeing a clear signal coming out of London today.
Nobody can predict it for the moment, what will be the outcome of the votes. But I welcome the votes, that we have a chance to get clarity about the ideas of the Parliament. Again, I think it's a historic moment for the country to get a common understanding among the party political families, to get a common understanding about the long-term relationship towards European friends. We are still friends, we want to work together, but we need a clear idea of what London wants to achieve.
Now, there are also mixed signals out of Brussels. Leaders say, Michel Barnier, the chief negotiator, says that this Brexit deal can't be reopened. Others are saying, let's talk. So how much room for manoeuvre is there still to make any kind of concessions towards London?
There is no room of manoeuvre for the legally binding treaty. It is on the table. So the Commission, Michel Barnier, has the full support of the European Parliament on this. If somebody has an idea to reopen this treaty, then everything is again reopened. Then we talk again about Gibraltar, we talk again about the fisheries policies, we talk again about how much Great Britain must pay when they are leaving the European Union. So it is a balanced agreement. What we need is a clarification on the long-term relationship. We have in London the big problem on the backstop on the table. That is a domestic discussion, the biggest problem for the ratification. And everybody knows we can avoid a backstop because it's only a fallback position. We can avoid a backstop if we have a clear idea on the long-term relationship. If we know what we want to achieve, we can make it in the next 2 or 4 years in the transitional period. That's why let's clarify the long-term relationship, and then we have a good perspective for the future.
Now, you're the Conservative candidate in these upcoming EU elections. Of course, Brexit will have an impact there either way, particularly also on those populist parties. You've reached already across the aisle, calling on all parties to basically join forces against the rise of populists from the right. How do you want to avoid these elections becoming a de facto referendum for or against Europe or for or against migration?
We are discussing in the European elections not Brexit and not the yes or no to Europe. We discuss the direction of this continent. In democratic elections, people show up and tell us as politicians in which direction we should go with a majority decision. What we have to put on the table as democratic parties is to give people an idea about the direction. For example, I'm a candidate who tells the people very clearly, if I become Commission President, I will stop the enlargement talks towards Turkey. I don't think that Turkey can become a member of the European Union. And if they vote for one of the EPP parties in Europe, they will get a Commission President who says this very clearly and will do this afterwards. So we have to be concrete, we have to be clear what are we offering to the citizens and to have a lively debate during the election campaign.
Manfred Weber, thank you very much.